I don't have an opportunity to rebut what he says about me. Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you, Scott, for putting this event together. My name is Susan Latvalla, and I'm currently representing you on the Board of County Commissioners. I'm a 30-year resident of Palm Harbor. I raised my children here. I remember when the Pinellas Trail was a railroad line that carried the citrus that was picked in Palm Harbor to market. When my boys were young, after supper, we would, as a special treat, drive out East Lake Road so they could see the deer grazing on the side of the road. Those days are gone. There's still plenty of deer out in that area, but they sure don't graze along the side of the road. Pinellas County has changed, and has changed in a lot of very positive ways. And I'm very proud for the last 10 years that I've been a part of that. My leadership training began as the president of the Palm Harbor Junior Women's Club. From there, I've served on many, many, many nonprofit boards around the county, and from the Friends of the Library to the YMCA to the Operation PAR and many others. I've been appointed to federal and state boards, and just recently, a few years ago, served as president of the Florida Association of Counties. Calvin talked about what we're doing in economic development, and I don't want to duplicate things that he said, and I want to share some other positive things with you that are going on in Pinellas County that your county commission has been responsible for. These are incredibly challenging economic times. You all know that. Pinellas County, I feel like we were a little bit ahead of the curve. We saw back in 2007, that was the last year of the big roll-ups of property values. We reduced your taxes that year by 0.7 of a mil. Not knowing that the very next year, 2008, is when the real estate market was going to crash. And it has been declining ever since. Pinellas County has, your commission has worked hard to try and stabilize the government. We've spent the first 2 years just cutting. We have to balance the budget every year. So we made the cuts that were necessary and realized that the cuts were incredibly deep, that we weren't finished yet, that we were not at the bottom of this decline, and there was much more pain to come. Nearly 1,000 employees have lost their jobs. $100 million of revenue has been lost. So to stabilize that government has taken a lot of work by the Board of County Commissioners and our dedicated staff. We hope that we're stabilized and that next year the decline that's been predicted is not so great that we have to do more layoffs. But you have a dedicated, hardworking group of county commissioners who care passionately about this community, this county. I will address the rail issues a little bit because of what Norm said. There have been conversations about rail ever since I was elected. But in the last 3 years, the legislature created TBARTA. That's a regional transportation authority. And Pinellas County is a part of that. We have representatives that serve on it. For the first time in Florida's history, the region has come together to talk about mass transit. That's the only way we're going to have a successful rail mass transit system. The high-speed rail, whether it's high-speed or light rail, none of those decisions have been made except for the piece between Tampa and Orlando. That has received federal funding just this year, and that piece is supposedly underway. The plans that are going on now through TBARTA, who are working very closely with Pinellas staff, Hillsborough, and the other 5 members of the TBARTA region, are trying to determine what that rail is going to look like, whether it's going to be more of the high-speed or light rail. It's very questionable as to whether high-speed can come into Pinellas County. High-speed rail goes at 160 miles per hour plus, so you can't be making curves. You have to have fairly straight shots, like between Orlando and Tampa. Lots of unanswered questions, and my point being that this is no done deal. We do need improved transportation. We hear on a regular basis from our economic development staff, as well as the people that we're out in the community talking to, that businesses, when they look at this area, don't want to come because we don't have any mass transit. Our bus transportation system is great if you live in South County, but we don't have large enough numbers of population anywhere in North County that go to any one destination to make it justifiable. I serve on that PSTA board, and we're trying desperately with these limited funds to expand the service, but what's in North County is very, very limited. The studies that are going on and the collaboration between the region is really impressive. So there is nothing written in stone, no decisions have been made, except for that piece between Orlando and Tampa. And you will know in plenty of time and have lots of opportunity for your input on what that system is going to look like if in fact it moves forward. It is going to be expensive, and it's going to take federal funding to help, and there is a whole process of getting in line for that, and whether or not we'll be able to is to be determined. What else did Calvin say that I don't want to repeat? It has been my honor and my pleasure to represent you on the Board of County Commissioners. I have the passion and the commitment and the experience to help lead the county through these very challenging times. I appreciate your support in the past, and I look forward to continuing to serve you on the Board of County Commissioners. Again, thank you, Scott, for making this available. You did a great job, and we appreciate it.
On the high-speed light rail system, how much money, round figure, have we spent on research to get this thing done versus what it's going to cost to build it? I mean, how much taxpayer money's been spent?
A few million. The study.
Calvin mentioned 4, but there's some. I'm sorry, Calvin, I'm misquoting you. Somebody said 4 million.
Yeah, Calvin said 4. I don't serve on MPO, and that's where the money has come from. And most of it is federal grants. Not that that's not our tax money. I'm just trying to share with you where it comes from. We've gotten grants several times, and Metropolitan Planning Organization also has state funding that helps.
So there is state money coming to fund, to research the idea of having a light or high-speed rail system that we don't even know.
T-BARDA is funded by the state. And it's, again, I'm very pleased that we're at this point where 7 counties can sit down together and look regionally at this. Pinellas County can't build a rail system. Hillsborough County can't build a rail system. It has to be our region if it's going to be effective.
And to get your federal transportation dollars, there are certain studies and documentation that they have to have in. They fund it, but you have to get it done, and you send it in, and that's a part of the whole study for the money to come to the region to build a high-speed rail, and then we would have to show how we would enact light rail, and you have to change the land use so that we can have stations and things like that. But the MPO gets the money, but then they're told that we need this study from you by this date.
And studies that have been done in the past are now outdated. So, one other comment that I'd like to make before my opponent speaks, because I know he's going to talk about this. There is been much conversation about being owned by the people who support me, and I accept contributions from people who do business with the county. I'm very proud of the endorsements I've received and the money that I have received. People write checks of their hard-earned money to support candidates that they believe in. I want you to know that there is no way that any county commissioner can impact any decision that is being made on contract, bid, any purchasing that is done by the county. The Board of County Commissioners establishes policies, puts them in place, and they're implemented by our staff. When the staff, which goes through many layers of signing off on it, and the county administrator finally sign off, it comes before us for a final approval. That's all we do, and there is no way that we have any way to intervene in that. It must have been different